Now, obviously, as you can see, I've gotten myself in trouble again. There's something interesting about this clock I'd like to point out, though. And it is that, well, first of all, it was $4.99, and it's also got a yellow sticker, which matches. It's not something hideous like green. Despite this thing being, just another one of those cheap, no-name clocks, it's made out of ceramic. This is ceramic material. I have never seen one of these made out of ceramic, cheap or not. But you can see it's just really cheesy. Look at that. Not necessary at all. I was hoping that it would have an interesting alarm on it, but it's just the standard beeper tone. I think it takes one, maybe two AA batteries, but it's also got a screw on the battery cover, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. But I had to get this, because I just couldn't let it sit there. It was way too cool. But that's not the point of today's video. This is a Sony CDP C305 5-disc CD changer, and it's got a problem. Initially I thought that it was a terminal problem with the mechanism, which pretty much sidelined it for a while, but I've since come to realize, and as you might have already seen or will see in a future upcoming video, it actually seems to work fine. It's just very finicky about balancing, and apparently this camera is not going to focus today. Anyways, so this thing was down and out, and I had to find another one, and I kept making visits to the thrift store, kept finding things that were interesting, but I never actually found a CD changer. Well, obviously, as you can tell by both the title of this video and by what I'm doing right now, that changed. Yep. So what is it, you might ask? And I'm going to try and do this without totally breaking myself. It's not easy to get out of that corner of the room with the closet and whatnot. This is a Teac PD-D1500 compact disc multiplayer. 5-disc changer. Yes, I do have the front faceplate and front faceplate, and yes, it's off. I'll get into that in a second. But real neat unit, as you can see. It's sleek. It's like basically almost pristine, and that's what I paid for it right back there. Was a very lucky find, let me tell you. What had happened was, as I was looking in the electronics section, and I didn't see anything that was all that interesting. There was just, the usual cheap, all-in-one stereo systems like that, crappy VCRs, DVD players, monitors, junky keyboards, set-top boxes, the usual assortment of crap. Are you going to focus on something or what? Seriously. It's not that hard. Now you guys are getting to see why I don't use the JVC camera anymore. And actually, the only reason why I'm using this right now is because the Sony is presently out of batteries. But anyways, this thing was being taken out by one of the employees. It had just been taken out of the area, and she was putting it on the shelf. And I saw the price tag on it. I was like, hang on a minute, I'll take that. And I did, and I don't feel the slightest bit bad about it. Now, initially when I got it home, it was having a problem reading discs, but that seemed to have sorted itself out for a bit, and then it came back again. And so tonight, with the help of Band-Aids and a screwdriver and all of that, I took it apart, and I reseated every connector inside the unit. Initially, I thought that there was a bad capacitor or a set of bad capacitors. I think I'm going to need to put this on manual focus mode. I wonder if it's going to stay there. But I took the faceplate off, took everything off, and I tried to reseat all of the connectors. And that was not fun, let me tell you, to try and take that apart. I would have made a video about it, except for the one problem that I really don't feel confident that that was the right way to do it. In fact, it wasn't the right way to do it. I took everything apart just to do something really simple, and that was to take out this tray so I could work at the connectors on the bottom. And I did need to take this off. This was definitely going to have to come off of there, but actually this is interesting in that it's actually held in with screws. There are 3 screws that hold it in, which I thought was odd. I haven't put all of the screws back in yet. There's still 4 that need to go around the edge of this. But I think I'll do that at a later time. Probably tomorrow, because it's real early in the morning and I need to get to bed. But imagine my surprise when it started working perfectly fine. I don't know how long it's going to work for. Hopefully it'll work for a good long while. But we'll see. So let's have an overview here. We've got the power button here, which is a hardware power switch. Got the headphone, which is a 1/4 inch. I've got an adapter here. Curiously, there's no adjustment for the headphone output, which I thought was real odd. The Sony's got one, but this one does not. And it is not on the remote control, which I do actually have. Here's the remote. There's your sensor for the remote. I don't think you'll be able to see it. The camera won't even focus on it anyways. And let me get a light here. Let me see where I put my light. So there we can get a look at some of the indicators. There are no unused indicators in there, unfortunately, so there's nothing interesting that, say, a higher-up model could have had. Maybe this is the high-end model. I have no idea. We've got stop. We've got separate play and pause buttons, which I have not seen in a CD changer, ever. We've got skip buttons for tracks. They do not seek through the track. It doesn't fast forward. Got a disc skip button and an open close. And let's take a look at this remote control. Because there's something I want to point out about this remote control. There's a button missing. I want to see if you can find it right off the bat. But we've got our disc skipping, and we can actually skip to a specific disc if we wish. I also noticed that the JVC picks up the infrared a lot better than the Sony does. The HDR-CX240. I don't know why that is. Got shuffle. We can select track numbers. There's our memory features. We can check the memory, what's actually programmed. This is programmed, for those of you that are familiar with that. Intro check, which I actually found out is just for previewing tracks. Got the repeat functionality, time functionality, which I will demonstrate. Searching through tracks, music skip, stop, pause, and play. But notice something missing on this remote control. Yes, I know the power is missing, but obviously with a hardware power switch, it would need to support both hardware and software power on, and that seems just kind of stupid. But there's one other button that's missing. That's right. There is no open-close button on the remote control, which I thought was a really curious omission. And, well, there you go. There's a precursory look at it. We can take a look at the back, if I can take a look at the back, which maybe I can't. There's not much on the back here. There's just the power input. There's some tags. You can see this unit was made in October of 1997. There's your serial number. There's our line output. And that is pretty much it. There's not much else that she wrote with this. So let's see it work. Now, because it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to be able to play anything. But I do have all of the discs loaded, as you can see. Yep, it's working. There you can see it's playing. Let's utilize the skip feature on the front. I don't know, skip through a couple tracks. And we can use it to skip through the back a couple tracks. Notice that it does not fast forward. Or seek through a track, I guess you could say. There's the pause feature. There's stop, which as you can hear actually unloads the disc, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. So we utilize the disc skip. We'll press play. And there's the next disc. You can also see the song catalog there. And we can also skip a disc while it's playing, and it'll just skip to the next disc and continue playing. Now, how about the remote control? Because the remote is definitely the best part of the unit. So let's see. We can skip a track, just like we could on the other thing. We can search through. As you can see, it does a slow search first and then a fast search. We can obviously play pause and all of that. We can I'm not sure what intro check does. I'm going to press the button. And I'm not sure what... I think that might be... It plays a couple seconds of the song and then moves on to the next song. But I'm not 100% positive. In fact, yes, I think that's exactly what it does. I'm not sure why they would call it intro check. They should probably just call it check song or something like that. The repeat functionality, which will repeat through discs. Not through individual tracks, I don't believe. You can repeat one... Focus, please. I don't know what's wrong with this camera. Are we going to get some focus? Here we go. Well, that's not going to work. Well, you'll just have to take my word for it. It says 1 on there. And so let's turn that off. And then the time functionality lets you see the time remaining in the song. It says each on there. Total time of the disc. And the total remaining time on the disc. I guess it also shows the remaining tracks on the disc, too. I didn't even notice that. The shuffle feature, which I have to say I'm not the world's biggest fan of. I think the Sony has got a much better shuffle feature. So just turn that off. Disc skipping can be done from here as well. But there's another thing that you can do. And it is you can say you want to go back to disc number 1 and play a specific track. I don't know, like 5. Then you press play, and it works just fine. As you can see. So, I don't know, let's say, I'm going to stop that here. Let's say I do still want to play track 5, and I want to have a program with track 5 in it. You press the memory button while it's on your track. Again, I don't think the memory works all that great. I like the Sony's implementation of it a lot better. It seems a lot more intuitive. And then, let's say again, we want disc 5, track 1, or something. We'll hit memory again, and then we want disc 1, I don't know, track 3. Hit the memory, and then we want, I don't know, disc number 3 and track number 7. Sure, how about that? And we'll press memory, and then we can press play. And it'll play that. Then we can press skip, and it'll go to the next disc. You can also do single disc programming, that's also a feature, but that's not really all that interesting. Obviously. Alright. We can check our memory by pressing the memory check button. We can see what's actually in the memory. So there's track 1, 2, 3, and 4. And to get rid of it, you just press the clear button. And so there you have it. The Teac PD-D1500 5-disc CD changer. I want to try this and see if it'll actually do it. Yep, as you can hear, it's working just fine, playing the discs. Alright, so let me try re-adding it and see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't screw up. It used to screw up whenever you were to do that. And it would only work on one of them. Now you could see I've also put the faceplate back on. Not quite perfect. I need to definitely go and fix that because that's not quite the way that it's supposed to be. So, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then.